Hey everybody, welcome back to MoWorks. We have a very interesting video for you guys today, but first I wanted to cover a little bit of housekeeping. We just hit 1,000 subscribers, and for the 1,000 subscriber special, I'm letting you guys vote on which firearm you wanted me to purchase for that special, and then try and use and make a little demonstration for it. Well, the results just got in from all the polling and the couple shorts and the video released on it, and it looks like the Derringer has won. A little 2-shot 38 special Derringer. So that's the new gun that's going to be coming to the channel. It's going to take probably about 1 to 2 weeks in shipping and 1 to 2 weeks in wait time because of state regulations. But for the video, we're going to have a couple different types of interesting ammo. I'm going to try to collect some fun targets, and I'm going to be putting probably over 100 rounds through the Derringer over the course of that 1,000 subscriber special video. So I'll have some real good trigger time on it, and I'll be able to discover for myself and for you guys whether the Derringer is as bad as they say or whether it's as good as I think it's going to be. Okay, so on into the main video. Today we're going to be covering defensive rifle etiquette, as we're calling it. We don't want to have any negative keywords here, so it's defensive rifle etiquette, and we're going to be displaying the AR-15 and possibly one other gun if we get to it. The reason why I want to cover this is because I don't know a whole lot about rifle etiquette, especially as it regards to the AR-15. So what I know a lot of is from what I've seen from YouTube videos, but no really hands-on in-person training, which is why we're bringing in...
Well, MoWorks viewers, it is I'm back. My name's Dylan, or BasedBalor on all platforms, and today, again, like my buddy Mo said, we're going to be covering the AR-15 and other defensive rifles, and a lot of the etiquette that goes into it. Especially with learning your platform, it's important to know what the best things are ergonomically and safely. So I think first we're going to cover the AR-15, and what do you think, Mo?
Do you want to give them any of your background while you know this stuff, or do you want to cover that?
Yeah, so a long time ago, a long time ago, I'm a young guy, but it makes me feel old talking about this. I was training to be a police officer, and I was working extensively with, again, with the police and doing a lot of range activities. A lot of what we were doing it pertained to mainly firearm ergonomics, making sure you know the weapon platform that you're using, making sure that not only are you capable of operating whatever platform you are using, but using it in a bunch of different ways, finding out all the different applications, basically learning what are the safest ways to operate in any given circumstance. And I figured today we're going to cover some of that, but with the handy dandy rifle.
All right, that sounds good. So we're going to get a little bit of prep done here, and then we'll jump right into it.
Alrighty, so first things first is we're going to be covering the anatomy of the AR-15. And I would just like to start off with just some stuff that would help you operate this rifle better. So we've got our buttstock right here, and what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we have it adjusted to whatever setting makes us more comfortable. If you're a shorter shooter and you don't have as far of a range from your shoulder to the barrel or the grips, handguards, whatever you want to call it, you're going to set it shorter. But for me, I'm a big guy, I have to have mine set all the way. Next up, what we're going to cover is we're going to cover a Picatinny rail or an iron sight. If you have an iron sight, you're going to be kind of styling your operating style a bit different from someone with an optic. One thing that I've noticed is whenever I shoot iron sight versus optic, you don't necessarily have to choke up on your rifle as far when you're using an iron sight, because sight picture is pretty clear, and I know on some optics, unfortunately, if you're in the daytime, it's not going to operate as well as in a dimmer or darker condition just based off of, the glass or what type of electronics are inside. You may get some glare, or if your optic is solar, at night you may not get the same effect. You may have a dimmer light and it may affect whatever you're doing. So you may have to choke up on your rifle a bit more, and it could affect your overall performance with the rifle. First thing that I would like to talk about in regards of functioning of an AR-15, especially in the regards of safety, is this safety lever. What you want to do is, this is a semi-automatic AR-15 right here, the way it's set up. This is safe, and then you're going to flip it up, and that's ready to fire. We're going to keep ours unsafe for the moment just because we're not ready to fire yet. But there's a couple core tenets of kind of dealing with the AR-15. First is identifying the charging handle, which is this bad boy right here. And what we're gonna do is, there is like a little lever right here that unlatches it, and if we want to put a bullet into battery, or if we want to clear a malfunction, or if we just want to check to make sure that there's no bullet in the chamber.
Spider.
Oh, spider?
Yeah.
Gotta love these bugs, guys. What we're gonna do is we're gonna pull it back, and we are going to check to make sure there's nothing in there, or we're gonna make sure that there's nothing in there so that we can load another round. So we can always release that, and it will either put a bullet into battery or clear whatever round is in the chamber. Next up, what we're gonna have is we're gonna have like our bolt hold open. And what we're gonna do for this is we have this little fancy little knobby-do right there, and we're gonna pull back on the charging handle, and we're going to press inwards down here. So now our bolt is held open. What's really neat about the AR-15...
Show them the bolt's held open.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
The bolt is, in fact, held open. So, with that, this button, let's say we have a magazine ready to go, just slid right up in there. We're going to press this button. We're going to press this inwards, and it's going to send our action flying forward. So, demonstration. Just like that. It's gonna be loud sometimes. If you got a round in the chamber, it may not be as loud, but again, just kind of the basic ergonomics of the AR-15, M16, M4 platform. You also have your forward assist right here. If you ever get like a jam, or if you feel like something's not quite going into battery, feel free to go ahead and press on it. And if you're having a real hard time, I wouldn't necessarily do it because I'm not in any battle zone or in any conflict situation, but I know during Vietnam, when the M16A1 came out versus the M16, people would just freaking go to town on the forward assist. And as far as that goes, I'm pretty sure that's full coverage of what we gotta kind of be mindful when dealing with the anatomy of the AR-15.
Yeah, I think that covered a lot of just the basics of that. One thing, being a new AR-15 owner, that I never noticed is that on this charging handle, on like most basic AR-15s that aren't custom or aren't necessarily fancy or special, that claw is only on the left side. I was expecting it to be on both sides because most of the AR-15s I saw online had some customizations that allowed it to be on both sides. But with just this Palmetto State Armory, just basic AR-15, it's only on this one side. So if you want to bring it back at all, you can't pull on the right side, you have to pull on the left.
Right on. Yeah, very interesting, very interesting. I know I've really wanted to customize this rifle, and I did as much as throwing some Magpul furniture on it. Again, adjusting it to how I feel like I would best perform, especially in whatever situation, but I don't necessarily prepare for those situations anymore. I just like having a cool gun that shoots well, that feels good to me, and I feel like that's what we're going to be covering today.
Very much so, yeah. So this is like, America's sporting rifle. Yes, it's a very good defensive rifle. It has been used offensively, but in America today, a lot of people just have them because they like them. And they're very likable because they're easy to use, low recoil, high power, and very close to a do-it-all rifle.
Does it all, pretty much. If you ever need to drill a hole in the wall in a safe place, make sure you have a good backstop. You can easily punch a hole in the wall with this thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of the basics. Now we're going to get into some different stances that my guy learned from the police and that I'm going to learn from him today, and hopefully you guys can pick up something as well.
Right on, let's do it. We're going to be safe.
I'm unsafe, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm safe too, but just for like the way that we're positioning, again, I know a lot of people are like, oh, you're within 5 feet of each other.
Is that a bad thing? Is that what they say? Yeah.
Some people are prudes about it, but we're operating with clear firearms. They would, practice the safest possible things for every application, which I do agree with. But for the sake of our display, we are dealing with rifles that are not going to shoot. They're not going to shoot, and they are not inherently in any way going to place any of us in a dangerous situation.
Yeah, just because I just showed you mine was clear, and then you just showed me yours was clear.
Yeah. Alrighty, so right now, my buddy Mo and I, we're going to be showing off 2 stances, and these are going to be your most common stances. We're going to talk about pros and cons for each stance. But first off, I would like to begin with my least favorite stance, but I know a lot of sports shooters they like to use the stance. It's called the weaver. And what they do is they place themselves with their shoulders facing forward to the target, and then they bring the rifle upwards onto their collarbone and up to their cheek with the rifle facing forward. And that way, for them, they can operate their rifle any way. So again, weaver, shoulder to target, feet. You can either have them a little bit like shoulder length apart, or you can have them a bit closer. I would opt to go, shoulder length apart, so that way, if something pushes you, you're not going to go backwards or forwards, so you have a bit more grip on the ground. And once more, kind of demonstrating it, you're going to bring it up to your shoulder, right there, and then back down. So the thing that I don't like about the weaver is that you stand side to, you stand with your front facing away from your target and your back facing away from the target. If you're wearing body armor in a combat situation and you're fighting like this, there is usually no protection right here. So while it may be good on an Olympic field, for real life combat application, you're gonna get lit up. And we don't want that. We all want to be happy. We all want to go home at the end of the day. And that's sort of the best thing to avoid in a situation like that. If you got side plates, more power to you. I feel bad for your bank account, but that's okay.
Well,
I know all
also,
about that.
I heard a study recently, and this is just more like common sense, but I'm sure they have to study it anyway. If someone hits you from the front and they get you in the lung, that sucks. But if someone hits you from the side, they get both of your lungs. Just because of how humans are built, we tend to have things organized.
Yep.
I don't know how that would be like horizontally. So if you present that horizontal shot to somebody, they can take out a whole lot more than they can just, hitting through one organ at a time.
Yep, they can hit your vitals, and that makes it a whole lot harder to put you back together. And again, we want to be safe. So the next stance that we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a frontal facing pose. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be having our rifle set up. We're going to have a wider stance. You can go shoulder length apart. And if that's not comfortable for you, you can even take like a half step closer. But make sure you have your knees bent, so that way you're able to absorb recoil as you're firing. So you're going to have that. You're going to have your back slightly bent. Your back's kind of want to. It's gonna kind of want to look like this. So that way, when you're ready to go,
right shoulder forward.
Yeah, your shoulders are forward, kind of like a tilt.
I see.
Think of like my knuckles as like your butt sticking out, and your as the palm of my hand is facing outwards, kind of symbolizing the tilt in your stance. So that way, as you're operating, you will bring the rifle slowly up, and that way, make sure it's on your collarbone, and make sure that you can see your optic. Bring it up to your cheek, and don't crane forward. The last thing we want to see are people that are not properly shooting their rifle, because that can be dangerous. You can have a lot looser of a grip on your rifle, or a number of things can go awry. So what you want to do is you want to line the buttstock up with your collarbone at all times, and always bring the rifle up to your face. Don't come down to your rifle like this. And then you can take it slowly down, and then bring it back up, and then slowly down.
Can you give me a better view? Because see, what I'm doing right now is I'm like, I got the stance.
Here, let me get a look at you. Can you stand right there? That's good. All right.
Okay.
So show me how you're bringing the rifle up.
So I'm sitting stance, butt out a little bit, bring it up, and then I want to go like that.
So what you want to do is think of everything as like the hinge point. Oh, you got a little bugaboo right there. I got him off. You're going to want to place this, like the bottom part of your buttstock, at like the corner of your collarbone. So just to show you on me, I like to line mine up. I line it up right here. I place it, and then I pull up.
Wow, so that's a lot higher than I would expect it to be.
Well, sorry, my bad. A little lower than the collarbone, kind of like the high pectoral muscle, and then bring it up to your cheek.
Oh, wow. Okay, that makes a difference.
Yeah.
Then I hardly have to move my head at all.
Yeah, you don't necessarily want to crane your neck. You don't want to kind of have to come down onto your rifle. Just make sure that you're able to bring it up to your face, so that way, your neck and spine and everything like that is in the right spot, so that way you're not cramping, you're not pulling anything, or you're not, again, cranking your neck.
No, I think I like that. I think I like that because I've always tried to get way up on it, and I guess that makes sense that you don't want to be straining yourself just out of a common sense standpoint again.
Yep.
So let me just make sure I just got this down. So. And I think you're right. This is, again, guys, this is the first time I'm seeing this and getting some real proper information on this. So just because I don't get it right away right now doesn't mean that, after a couple of weeks of training with this guy, I'm not gonna know any better. I'm gonna know a lot better. It's just gonna take a little while whenever you try something new, especially if you've been holding a gun a certain way. I remember when I was holding my concealed carry, when I finally figured out the right way to hold it, it's like, I'm going to blow my thumbs off. My thumbs are on the slide. Then it's like, nope, it's just the way it happens.
Yep.
It's the way you train. Okay. Awesome. Hey guys, if you have found anything you've seen thus far useful or helpful or fun, or if you just want to see more informational content, please consider liking this video and subscribing. It's going to help us grow, and it just gives me a lot more motivation to keep on making content like this. If you like BasedBalor, if you like Dylan over here, feel free to subscribe and like, and let me know in the comments you want to see more of him, because we can easily make that happen. Do you want to promote your channel real quick?
Yeah, first when these bugs get out of my face, YouTube.com/BasedBalor, Twitch.tv/BasedBalor. You can find me over there. Capital B's in the Base in Balor. Video games, I haven't really been streaming a whole lot lately, but I'm trying to get into some more, I like horror content, and I like history content. If you like anything like that, I'm going to be covering that, and as well as maybe playing with some firearms in the near future. We'll see.
Awesome. We're going to do some shooting now. We're using the stances that our friend Dylan just showed us here. I'm going to be using the kind of front-facing stance with the feet shoulder width apart, butt back a little bit, knees bent, and then finding that pivot point up on my shoulder and then moving the rifle up to my eye instead of what I've been doing all this time, which is bringing my head way down on that rifle. One other thing I think we should just mention that we're doing 2-eye open shooting, just because that's how I like to train. If I'm going for a really long, precise shot, I'll usually close my left eye, but otherwise we're going to be doing some both-eye open shooting here.
Yep.
All right, let's get in position, and we're just going to plink at a still target we have downrange.
Right on. All right, and then we're going to take the safety off. All right, and up. Fire.
Now folks, if that shooting seemed a little bit anemic, that's just because I'm learning this stance. I'm trying to put as much focus as I can into the stance, into the posture. We could have just mag dumped all over the log we're aiming at, but we're really just going for showing you the stance, showing you a couple times, that up and down motion of bringing the rifle up to your eye instead of, at least for me, that's the biggest takeaway for me today, is bringing the rifle up to my eye versus bringing my head down to the rifle.
Also, if you found it really funny that a round popped and bounced off my skull, I like you. You're really funny.
All right, awesome. If there's anything you didn't see explained today that you wanted to see explained, if you want us to go into any more detail on this, again, if you want to see more of BasedBalor over here, or if you have any criticisms, any comments, anything you want to instruct us on that maybe we missed during the course of the video today, feel free to comment anything you would like. If you say a whole bunch of racial slurs and a whole bunch of cuss words, YouTube is going to censor you before I even get to it, so don't be saying, oh, he's removing comments. Okay, YouTube does that on their own whenever you hit a certain threshold of incivility. Anyway, any parting words from you, Balor?
Yeah, keep removing comments as you're at your discretion. If you see anybody being toxic, just take care of them. It's like spring cleaning. You find some stuff you don't necessarily like or need anymore, and you toss it, right? But what I will say is, overall, we've covered a lot of like the core tenets, and especially when you have two people, or if you have two or more people, make sure that everybody's on the same page. Make sure everybody knows when you're going to fire. Make sure everybody knows kind of where you're placed. And if you ever feel uncomfortable with where you are in the steps, like let's say we're firing like I did, you'll see it on the video where I was a bit more forward. And when Mo shot around, I felt some of the pressure, and I had a casing pop off my head. And I made that choice to take a step back. And when you're shooting, there's going to be times when, yes, the brass is going to fly at you. You may feel some pressure. And don't be afraid of it. If you can see me, you will see that I still flinch or recoil sometimes when I hear other shots. And it's a normal thing to happen. It is a very normal thing. I'd say I'm 12 years into shooting guns and I still flinch and recoil. It's a completely normal thing. So just remember, be safe, use your ergonomics, have fun. Ultimately, have fun. Be yourself, be happy.
Yeah.
Back over to you, Mo.
And the more you shoot, the more you learn. The more you go out shooting with others, the more you learn about shooting with others. I know a whole lot about shooting solo, but each time I take this guy out here, I learn something different. So yeah, had a great time with you today.
Yes, sir.
More to come in the future from BasedBalor, more to come in the future with MoWorks. Keep an eye out for that 1,000 subscriber special, and we'll catch you all in the next one.
Good video, bud.
That was good. I like it.